So finally, ESPN have done it in their mock draft. I'm convinced ESPN are actually watching basketball because for me, as at this point in time, there is a absolutely clear number one overall pick. Albeit that doesn't mean that she's guaranteed to be number one, depending on who's there. But for me, there is a hierarchy when it comes to players, and it very much is Awa number one. She is the best player in this draft. But depending on if you for need or whether or not you're thinking, okay, well, we don't want to have to pay a 23-year-old still developing max money. If we draft them older, we're going to keep them on the rookie deals for a longer time. Like, if that's your logic, I think at this point in time, AZ Fudd's got to be there. Because I think AZ Fudd's looked really, really good. Albeit UConn today, I think, are playing Michigan. So, when are UConn? What time is the UConn Michigan game? Today we'll see a lot of we're gonna see it a lot. What they're all about. So it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I really don't want to watch it, but I kind of have to. Like, I have to fucking drive all the way across the country tomorrow, which isn't fun. But yeah, I have to watch that game and report on it, which isn't ideal. But yeah, it's a big game. But our fam, finally, they have her at number one, where she should be at this point in time. Because I think she's had an alright start to the season, but it's just one of those things where Fam's agent said her top priority is playing the WNBA. And, like, people don't understand that, like, how much more money the WNBA players are making now. Like, even at the rookie minimum, even if she's making the minimum in her rookie deal, she's not making that in Europe. People over-sensationalize how much these players are making in Europe. Yes, Taurasi in her peak was making $1 million. Yes, Liz Cambridge is making $1 million. I saw a post on Reddit and it was like, oh, they're never going to be able to compete with what Fenerbahce are paying Kayla McBride and Gabby Williams. They are not paying them more than $500,000. Kayla McBride is, like, genuinely, she's obviously a very good player. But at the end of the day, she's not going to put that many butts in seats. She's there by choice. She played in Unrivaled last year. She's realistically there by choice. And yeah, you just never know what way she's going to make a decision. I think Unrivaled could have matched her money, but she wants to play for Fener, especially for that period of time. But like, our fam is like, all these players are going to want to come to the WNBA. And even the ones that were stashed, like Aisha Sivka from Chicago, she's going to want to come over next year, and she's a hooper. Aisha Sivka's a hooper. In fairness, like, she's a hooper. She's going to be a nice sniper, and it's going to be great beside Cardoso, probably coming off the bench next year, but will be great coming beside Cardoso eventually. But Lauren Betts at 2, I still think is crazy. I still think it's absolutely crazy. Like, we saw Alana Smith get cooked last year because she just wasn't fast enough to guard Alyssa Thomas. We saw Phoenix cook the Lynx last year with Alyssa Thomas playing point center because Alana Smith just couldn't deal with her at point center. Because with the way the matchups were, that was the matchup she had to take. And if Alana Smith was too slow to get them to the finals last year, what the fuck's Lauren Betts going to do for them? Olivia Miles at 3. There's no way, if it goes like this, that AZ Fudd does not go to Seattle. Unless Seattle, of course, are rebuilding. If Seattle are rebuilding, anything's possible. There's no way AZ Fudd doesn't go to Seattle if Seattle are going for it again. Because Skylar Diggins is already there. If we're going big board, I get having Olivia Miles 3. Actually, you know what? I don't. I get having Olivia Miles 2. 3 or 2. But they have beheaded bets. Flau'jae to Chicago. It's really hard to judge. Again, I've said this in plenty of videos. It's really hard to judge LSU players. Tanaya Latson at 6. Cody McMahon at 7. Like, imagine being able to get like a Latson at 6 and then having to settle for Cody McMahon at 7. I just don't rate Cody McMahon. I don't think she's great. Let's not forget her giving the finger at the end of the bench and trying to do the, oh, we hate them about Iowa. Nah, you're not getting away with that one, Cody. Sarah Williams at 9, it seems like a stretch. That seems like a stretch. And I really don't want a cut. I've seen a cut mocked a few times to Indiana. I want speed. I don't want, I thought that she's even slow for her size. I don't want a 6'6" player. I don't want a traditional center. I want a spacer. I want Azurá Stevens, who can play center in all the non-Aaliyah Boston minutes, and we can play Sophie Cunningham at power forward as a small ball power forward. I want fucking Hannah Stuelke, who I think is a much better player. I think Hannah Stuelke is the most underrated player in this draft. We saw them all playing for Team USA. The best 4-5s they had. That was a team that had Reagan Beers, it had Audie Crooks, who everyone's been talking about as this dominant player. Like, they had those players. Who were their best players? Grace Van Slooten and Hannah Stuelke when it was all said and done at that position. Heck, even Madison Booker at times can play up at the 4. Gabriela Jaquez, I kind of like Jaquez. I actually kind of like Jaquez. I have to say. I do like Jaquez. And I'm going to be honest. I think there's a world where Jaquez is better than Lauren Betts. Like, I just don't like Lauren Betts. I think Lauren Betts could be like a Tiara McCowan level bust. I just think she's Tiara McCowan. Like, and they were saying, oh, but like Tiara McCowan didn't do this and that, man. She was the best player in college. She was expected to go number 1. I think she's just Tiara McCowan. Iana Martine at 12. Decent pickup. I like Iana Martine. I genuinely do. I think there's a possibility of a stash there. But no, I think Martine is good. Janiah Barker at 13. I'm still taking Janiah Barker if I'm Indiana. I think worst case scenario, she's a better Michaela Timpson. She's Michaela Timpson that's worst case scenario. It allows you to use KK as bait, as trade bait as well, because you basically have replaced KK with a better KK. So yeah, I just don't know when it comes to Janiah Barker, because I think she's been all right. From what I've been seeing, she's been all right this year. Kiki Rice at 14. Now, Kiki Rice is so intriguing, even as a Fever fan, because you just don't know what you're gonna get. I think the idea of Kiki Rice is always better than the player of Kiki Rice, almost. But yeah, it is an interesting one. But for me, Awafam is the clear out and out number 1 at this stage. Like, if you're asking me who is the best player in this draft class, for me, it's between AZ Foot and Awafam. AZ Foot is 4 years older than Awafam. Like, there's no Paige Bueckers in this draft. And I was like, if there was a Paige Bueckers, as in this no-brainer, you're obviously taking her number 1. It doesn't really matter about potential because Paige is already an all WNBA caliber level player. No, none of them are like that. There's no player in the there's absolutely no player in this draft that is is going to be good enough right away that you pass on the potential of Awafam. And the odds of like AZ Fudd being a starter day 1 are high depending on where she goes. Like, if AZ Fudd goes to Seattle, she's near certainty to be starting day 1. And the odds of Awafam starting day... In fairness, Awafam's probably going to start for Dallas day 1. If that happens. But if Awafam goes to Minnesota, I could see them maybe taking a year for her to develop. Like, I think the likelihood is she's going to be the best player in the class. I think that's my prediction. And it's going to be... I know it's going to be... It's not going to be debatable. Like, if you ask 100 people who know what they're talking about, who the best player from the 2025 WNBA draft is going to be, I think 50 would say Malonga, 50 would say Paige. Like, it's that close. Realistically, who's the best player in this class? It's probably going to be Awafam. It's almost certainly going to be Alpha Fam, if we're being completely honest here. Like, she's just that much of an upgrade. Like, she is a modern big, just kind of everything. Just everything you kind of need in a modern big. She passes. Her feel for the game on offense is great. Her positional sense on defense is good. She's athletic. She's 6'6", and she's fucking huge. Like, I mean this. I was courtside when I watched her play. And with the way my seat was, like, I was like, basically, I faced the tunnel when they went in. So I just stood up. And waited for them all to walk by, just so I could gauge the height of these players. Our fam is legit 6'6". And I don't mean 6'6" as in, oh, it's a basketball 6'6", 6'6" with shoes. No. She is a legit 6'6". I have seen men list themselves at 6'8" that are shorter than our fam. And people are like, oh, she's listed at 6'4". Yeah, because they took her height when she was 15. In FIBA, whatever your first height is, they don't change. So they could take your height when you're 15 years old, and that's the height you're going to be forever. So yeah, our fam obviously in here at the number 1 draft pick right now. And I think it's a near guarantee, I would say, that our fam is going to, when it's all said and done, be a, like, when it's all said and done, she's going to be an all-star. She's going to be an all-star. She's going to be a star center, especially if she ends up playing beside Paige Bueckers. Or, honestly, her in the Minnesota system or her beside Paige, she's going to be an all-star either way. I don't really mind. Like, I'm glad she's not going somewhere shit. She's going to one of the 2 perfect situations for her. Because, let's be honest, she's not falling below number 2.